and one I feel I've lost quite a bit. So I can tell you what to do, and I can also more importantly tell you what not to do. And I've also been in product management, I've also been in consulting, and I worked in US, Canada, and India. So across 3 different countries and across several geographies, I've managed to use these skills. Now, let me orient you. While we talk about why table topics is necessary from a contest perspective, and that is the actual focus of this entire presentation. Since we are going to have a table topics contest coming up, we're going to talk about all the skills that are necessary. We also talk about the intrinsic skills which will actually help you in your day-to-day lives. Whatever you apply, whatever you apply upon as a speaker, or you also have to use them on a day-to-day basis. If you don't use them on a day-to-day basis, they will not come to your aid when you go for a contest. Right. So let's go forward. Why do you need table topics? Why do you need table topics? Why is impromptu speaking very important from a professional perspective? I'm a product manager and I typically am put on the spot. How do you improve the market share of this product? Chaitanya, why is this product lacking? Why isn't this segment of customers buying our product? So, it allows me to get to the point. The skills that you acquire in table topics allows me to get to the point. And whenever you're put on the spot, believe me, you're not going to get about 10 to 15 minutes to think about and give an answer. The max that you're going to get is 2 or 3 minutes. That's it. You're on the spot and you have to give a sensible, reasonable answer which is verifiable. Let's not get into the business of beating around the bush. That is not professionalism. Get to the point. So, simply whenever somebody asks me this, I'll say, this market segment is based on these factors. Research needs to be done as to why these factors are going down. Let me get back to you in a few days. That's the way that you got to go about doing things. Clarity. You spoke for 2 minutes, but what did people glean out of it? What did people understand from it? Conveying your point is great, but conveying your point with clarity and authority. Now, there are 3 places you can be. Yes, we are going over. No, we are going somewhere. Maybe, let me find out and tell you where we are. Yes, no, maybe. All the 3 are answers. And you got to deliver it. Nobody is going to put a gun to you in a professional scenario asking you, come up with an answer right now, else I'm going to shoot you. But yes, there are repercussions for giving a wrong answer. Don't give a wrong answer when you got to verify things. Let them know that they've got to be verified. So maybe is also an answer. Now again, all of these are from a professional scenario. I'll tell you how they will actually help you in a contest perspective. One more thing. It will help you get to your audience better. Your audience will start appreciating you better. Because you yourself are going to tell your audience what you know, what you don't know. And what you might know, what you might not know. It's very important. It's very easy whenever you're called up out of the race and you're presented as an expert and you actually start believing your own hype. That is the worst thing that you can actually do. You might be an expert, but still you have a lot to learn. Every one of us has a lot to learn. So, if you are upfront about the fact that, hey, this is what I know, this is a subject area which we might not cover, this is something that we might cover, you will set an expectation to the audience, and the audience will know exactly what they expect from you. And in this give and take, there are no losses. Everyone wins. So, this is what impromptu speaking actually gets to you. So, you get to the point very quickly, you convey your point in a crystal clear fashion, and your audience also starts appreciating you. Because you are on the mark, they know that you haven't prepared, but yet you are giving them truth, not beating around the bush. Right. This is why table topics are important. This is why everyone should attempt to be a good table topic speaker. Right. Let's go forward. Now, how do you attempt table topics? What is it that actually goes to prepare for this? How do you prepare for table topics? Now, before we go into what actually table topics are, table topics get their name from the fact that these topics were given on the table. Toastmasters started very informally. So people used to sit around the table and then pass on a topic, hey, buddy, just start speaking on it. And they used to start speaking on it. So while they are done in a very informal fashion, the preparation that actually goes into table topics is very formal. And that's what I'm going to introduce you to. How do you prepare for table topics? Let's go ahead. If you want to start preparing for table topics, let's say that you have a table topics contest coming 2 weeks down the line. I want you to do 3 very important things. I want you to introspect, retrospect, read. I-R-R. Introspect, retrospect, read. IRR, the acronym might be very similar to internal rate of return, but IRR is introspect, retrospect, read. I'll tell you what these are internally. We'll take each of them individually. Next slide, please. Introspect. Think about, just take some time, put yourself in a slot, put yourself in a position. I mean, take yourself away from the entire noise of the world. Ask yourself these questions. What does life mean to you? What are your successes and what are your failures? What are your dreams and what are your aspirations? What irritates you? What do you hate? What do you like? Human beings are a very complicated species, and they are inherently opinionated. What you need to do is to bring about all those opinions that stay inside of you. And when I say inside of you, let me use an analogy. They are stored in that read-only memory, ROM. Think of ROM and RAM that we used to have. They're stored in that read-only memory. Bring them out from all of those ROM and bring it to this RAM, random access memory, wherein you can quickly access them at that time. So think about these points. Think about what appeals to you, what disgusts you. Think about these variety of things on which you are polarized upon. Introspection is finding out who you are. Get to this point. I'll tell you why this is useful. So, introspect. Second step. Okay, I put this snap out from a movie called Autograph. And Autograph, the movie, it deals with the hero looking back at his own path and smiling about it. Now, retrospection is not looking internally. Retrospection is looking at all the events that happened. Introspection is looking internally. Retrospection is looking at all the events that happened to you from an external perspective. Retrospect. Look at your school. Look at your college. Look at your education. Look at the people who motivated you. Think about people who've actually been the turning points in your life. Think about the people who've actually helped you out when you needed the most or ditched you. Think about ex-girlfriends, ex-wives, ex-husbands, stepfathers, stepmothers, all of them, right? You need to think about them, get them in. Take them from that room, put them in the RAM. Again, I'm going to tell you why that is useful. Take them from the room, put them in the RAM. This is very essential. Forward. Read. This is all preparation. Again, this is all preparation. Read. I would ask you to read articles. If newspapers, books, publications, journals are not for you, don't do it. Watch documentaries, short films, movies that you like. I've had a guy at a table topics contest, quoting a scene from Maine Pyar Kiya. But it was okay because it was apt for that theme what he went through. So watch what you like. I typically tend to do a combination of these both. And if you're watching documentaries, what are the documentaries that you like? Do you like documentaries about movie making? Do you like documentaries about sports, history? What do you like? You name it. These documentaries are available on YouTube. There's a wealth of information out there. It's for you to absorb it. Watch them. Watch randomly. Pick any bit of information. Don't be afraid about knowledge. Seek knowledge. Go after it. Read and watch widely. Now, after these two things are done, this is something which I actually ask people to do quite a bit. How many of you go alone to the cafeteria? I go alone to the cafeteria. How many of you travel alone? How many of you switch on music while you sit alone? I don't. So even though you're going alone, by switching on music, you're already pushing yourself into a different zone. You're not thinking about what's happening around you. This deals with reading people. Read your surroundings. Read people. While I was traveling for my engineering, I used to change 3 buses and go. And every day there used to be a story in the bus. Somebody used to get into a fight with the conductor, somebody used to get into a fight with the driver, there used to be a guy who was drunk, who didn't want to get off the bus, he didn't have the money. Every day there used to be a new story. Around you, there are several stories which you conveniently ignore. Around us, there is a stereotype. There are many stereotypes that you can actually pick up. Don't use names, but pick up these stories. These are examples that you can use and wield when the time comes. So read other people. Observe. For a change, observe them. Not to point them out. Observe them to win. A lot of people say, when I say observe, they do aggressive stalking. And typically what happens is they come up with an opinion and next time they meet that guy, oh, you are like this. And they come up with this brilliant analysis of that fellow's behavior by looking at that fellow for 2 minutes. Wrong. Don't do that. That's not what I want. Look at that person and look at how he's interacting with a particular object. Take that story, keep it in your RAM. Again, when I say RAM, put it in your RAM. You can use it later. Take all of these stories. Look at how people interact with incidents. Most of the times, our life is incomplete because everything that needs to happen to us doesn't. And we are lucky. We are lucky. We are lucky that everything that needs to happen to us doesn't happen. We are lucky in that. Sometimes it happens to our friends. Why not learn from their experiences? A lot of us cannot understand about darkness as she was talking about. But if you have somebody who is blind or partially blind, why not understand their own pain? When do we stop being infatuated with ourselves? When do we start looking outside? When we do that, we pick up stories. That's very important. And once again, this is just a preparation. Man. So, what do we do to actually prepare? I talked about what was the formula? Can you tell me? Right. So we are on the right track. Good. I haven't put you to sleep. Next slide. Now, what do you do on the table topics day? What? On the table, this is all the information that you collected. It's there in your hand, you put it there. On the day of the table topic, and whenever I'm telling you a strategy, these are all the things which have worked for me. And I've been consistently successful at table topics. Whether I've been successful at other things or not, I've been successful at table topics. So, this is what has worked for me, might not work for you, but again, my job here is to let you know what worked for me, and please use it if it works. When I go for any impromptu speaking contest, the first thing that I don't do is sit and start chatting with other people. I try to find a lonely corner, go there and sit. The reason here is, you do not want to get into a zone where you are overexcited to go there and do something. Again, you don't want to be disappointed, you don't want to go down. You don't want to feel too high, you don't want to feel too down. You've got to get yourself into an optimal zone. The zone, which we all know, we've all done this before. Remember the toughest exam that we faced, the mathematics exam, the calculus exam? Remember? We learned everything. We had all the theorems in place. But what we used to do was sit quietly, look at all the textbook, put it aside, and before the invigilator used to give the paper, we used to give ourselves up to silence, not talk to our friends. And then finally when the paper came in, look at the question paper and start attempting it. That's exactly what you got to do with table topics. For me, the best thing that I always do is get myself into a zone. And when I say a zone, in that zone, I don't tell myself I've done well before. In that zone, I'm a nobody. In that zone, I have no past, no future, no present. It's a zone of vacuum that I try to get myself into. There is no ego. So when I go up onto the stage, I'm not worried about losing. I'm not worried about somebody in that corner laughing at me, saying, hey, you're a champion there, now you're failing. It's okay. That's fine by me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Get yourself into that zone. Because then you will be able to give a perfect attempt. Focus on the attempt. Do not try to humor people. This typically happens at a lot of Toastmasters contests. You get into this conversation, you have a random flow of thoughts coming up, you are pumped up, you are overexcited, 10 people telling you you can do it, you will win it, you go up onto the stage, the topic comes to you, it just boomerangs off, you don't know what to do. It's because you already got yourself into such a mode, that sort of an energy is too much. You're out there to kill the topic. No, you've got to negotiate it first. Because what is coming at you, you have no idea. You don't know whether a torpedo is coming at you, or a missile is coming at you, or a spear is coming at you. How are you going to face it? Surrender to it. That's the best. The first thing that I would like you to do is emphasize on silence. It's very important. give yourself up to silence. Once you give yourself up to silence, they'll put you in a room. Table topics, everybody does an order of lots. Everybody gets the same speech topic. All of us are put in a room. In that room, don't speak with anyone of your participants. They say, hi, hello. Go, take a seat, sit in the corner, don't talk. And then when your time comes, go on. Next slide. Now, how do you attack once you receive the topic? Now, as soon as you get a topic, now table topic has certain prescribed notations. In Toastmasters, anything cannot be a table topic. A table topic is supposed to allow you to derive an opinion within that specified time duration that is given to you. I cannot ask you to derive Planck's constant as a table topic. That cannot be a table topic. Although it's a specified answer, I can. Provided you give me 2 or 3 hours, I will find out a way to derive Planck's constant. It's not that difficult if I remember my intermediate. But the fact of the matter is, this table topic, whichever topic is given to you, it is supposed to allow you to come up with an opinion within that specified duration. Anything other than that is not a table topic. So people say, no, hey, this derives an opinion, this can be a table topic. No, this doesn't allow you to derive an opinion within that specified time. Right? So that is the reason why, so there we are all helped. So most of these table topics are not beyond us, nothing is rocket science. Even rocket science is not that difficult. So keeping that thing in mind, these are finite topics which will allow you to derive an opinion. So once you get a topic, tell me, where do you go? Do you want to go that side or do you want to go this side? Most of these, as I told you, are intended to derive an opinion. So are you going for it or are you not going for it? Are you going for it or are you not going for it? Now, there are some people who will say, I am both for it as well as against it. I tell you, there are maybes too. In table topics contest, there are maybes too. So when you have maybes, I'll tell you what to do with that. So you tell me which way are you choosing, you will tell me why, I'll tell you how to come up with why, and then you have to come up with a conclusion. Right? And concluding as to why, that is your conclusion. Right? Next slide please. So, how do you tell me why? So it's easy for you to tell I'm going for the topic. Then you have to substantiate your argument. So there are 3 ways you can substantiate your argument. You can define. You can give me a definition. For example, this table topic that I got in the district finals was, to err is human, but to forgive is superhuman. To err is human, but to forgive is superhuman. So what I did was, I started giving an example of a guy called Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins went on to become the world middleweight champion. But before that, he was a convict in a prison. He was put in the prison for armed robbery. His jailer told him, you are a fighter. I've seen that you can box. I'm going to give you a chance. Improve your boxing skills. I'll ensure that you'll have a way out of here. So he goes there, he improves upon his boxing skills, he gets pardoned, he comes out, he becomes a world middleweight champion. So I gave the example of Bernard Hopkins where whatever he heard was human, but the jailer who forgave him was superhuman. So after giving this sort of an example, I thought I had one hand on the trophy. I didn't know that I was going to run into the district champion at that point of time, who was a person called as Abdul Rahim, whom I really admire. Abdul Rahim comes up to the dais after me, and remember, he doesn't see me. He doesn't know what I've said. Every one of us is in a room, and by the order of laws, you are called out. So Abdul Rahim comes up, and he gives the example of Pope. Pope John Paul had an assassination attempt in 1980. And he goes to the person who tries to assassinate him and forgives him. But once you give that sort of an example, no, Bernard Hopkins will stand up. So he won. This is an example. Now, Abdul Rahim won. I came second runner. The guy who came first runner used this, define. He talked about what is forgiving. Aren't you human? How are you here? What is the very definition of humanity? The very fact that we are human beings means that we can err. All of us are prone to errors. But what is it that makes us superhumans? Only if we can forgive the other. Don't our parents forgive us when we spoil their important documents? Haven't our teachers forgiven us when we didn't do our homework? So to err is human, but to forgive is superhuman. So that is definition. Use that example. He was first runner. Next is cause and effect. How do you build your argument? I'm telling you how do you build your argument. You can either build it through examples, you can build it through definitions, you can build it through cause and effect. Today, I am a IT professional. But you know what? I could have been a welder in an ITI guild. I could have been a welder in an ITI guild if my mother had not forgiven me when I stole from her when I was a kid. Heaven, the very fact that she forgave me, the very fact that she told me, always admit the truth, never, ever, ever hide anything from me, ensure that I share all my weaknesses with her. And that has brought me to this level that I am. So that is the cause and effect. This is one of the examples of, this is one of the rules that one of the finalists follow. And just as I hit a roadblock, you also hit a roadblock somewhere in the cause and effect. So you can use cause and effect too. So the N is human, but the circle is superhuman. So there you can use the cause and effect too. Because you couldn't do this, you could not do that. So that's the cause and effect. Now, you don't have to use only this or this or this. You can use a combination of all of them. Let's take another example. So we are at the 20-second mark, right? Now please mark me from here. Right. Let's take another example. In the division contest that we had last year, the speech title that was given to me was Jack of all trades, master of none. Jack of all trades, master of none. I gave the example of how there was a tennis player who did well in all the four courts. There are 4 different varieties of courts in tennis. You have grass, you have clay, you have hard courts, and you have indoor. 4 different. So I gave the example, and I give a real example of a guy who was average in all the 4, but he goes on to become a success. So I said it's important to become a jack of all trades. It's not necessary to become a master of one. Pratima comes about, and then she gave an example of a definition, and the definition was this. How many of you want to become masters of at least one thing? And everyone rose their hands. So every one of us, even though we would love to be good at everything, we want to be master of at least one thing. So that proved her point. So she used the definition mentality of it. What is life if you don't master at least one thing? What is life if you are just average at one thing? Don't you want to be a master of something? Everybody rose their hands. That's it. So that's swaying the audience, but still getting your point through. That's what I'm saying. So again, define as well as example, go hand in hand, and you can also bring about cause and effect. Let's go forward. Conclusion. When you conclude, again, you've told me this, you've told me that, you've given me a bunch of examples. Conclude. So my conclusion would be, because that player worked at being good at all the 4 surfaces, he was a jack of all trades, but still went on to become a success. That is the reason why you need to be a jack of all trades, but need not be master of any single trade. So, conclude, reinforce your main point. Because you're giving an example, you're taking me on a flow, get me back to the main point. Now, people who say that they're going further as well as against the topic, imagine what they have to do. They have to conclude the forward point, they have to conclude the against point, they have to conclude both the points and then tell you why they're in the middle. That's very difficult. I would advise you not to go both further as well as against the topic. Okay, now, can you go back to the previous slide? I talked about RAM, right? I talked about RAM, and I'm sorry I didn't connect it. The RAM is where all your examples will sit. All the introspection, retrospection, the reading, this is where the examples will sit. Think about the fact that you can define and actually also give an example. You will be unbeatable. The reason why I'm asking you to get up onto the RAM and to be in that zone is when you go onto the stage, get this topic, you can directly jump into an example if it is necessary, and sometimes the example is strong enough, as Abdul Rahim illustrated with the Pope's example. Or you can define and then nicely flow into the example if you have to. Right? So this is where the RAM works. Let's go forward, please. Okay, so the main point is done. You can just go to the next slide. This is your balance sheet. So the structure, how do you start? How do you organize your speech? Are you going for, against? How do you conclude? And how do you pace your speech without confusing the people? The structure counts to about 30 points. Your effectiveness. How do you add strength to your argument? You've told me that you are going that way. Are you able to go on that route? Have you given enough examples? Have you defined it properly for me to understand your argument? That is 20 points. The rest of it is your appearance, body language and everything. So, if you have a proper structure wherein you're upfront telling me that you're going this way, That is your example. I'm going to stick with that. That is the route I'm going to take. And then have a proper example to justify it. You're going to score 10 on 10 in both those categories. The rest of the stuff just adds up. Your voice, your body modulation, your voice modulation, your body language, everything else just flows in. You got to believe. Once you pick a side, lean into that side. And if possible, don't go to both sides. That's all I can say. Right. The last slide on this sheet. Yes, please. What not to do? Don't try to entertain it. Since table topics are only for 2 minutes, people tend to go there. And sometimes they really want to throw a punchline whether it's appropriate or not. Don't do that. That is not professional. Don't make personal statements. When you go up onto the stage, you're not on your time, you're on my time. And you are listening to me. So, I have to consider everyone who's there in the audience. So, when you go up onto the stage, don't pick someone and make personal statements just because it's a table topic contest and you think that nobody can catch you. Don't do that. This is wrong. Don't try to go about it. Talking on table topic is important. Trying to sell yourself is not important. Don't try to sell yourself. This is something that I typically observe. I go there, I think, I am this, I am that, and no, focus on the topic. The topic was important. So, these are don'ts. Now, from a club's perspective, this is what I would suggest every club. Do not take table topics easily. I frequently see that in clubs when people have table topic sessions, there is crosstalk. There are people having fun. There are people trying to engage the speaker here, and there are nice questions and comments thrown at the speaker. Don't encourage it. As long as you prepare in this fashion, you are never ever going to ace table topics. Everything in life comes with a serious perspective and a focus. And if you want to achieve something in life, you cannot have a fleet-footed method towards it. So do not encourage people who engage in this sort of a crosstalk and tell them that table topics is not for fun. Yes, the byproduct of a good speech is always fun. But table topics by themselves are for fun. Right, so that's what I wanted to leave you with. How much did I clock back on?
28 minutes, 30 seconds.
Right, so I went over almost about 6 minutes over my 22 minutes. Right, so I'll pause for now. Any questions you have here?
Suppose if we don't know a topic, what can we do on that spot?
So, one of the things which I typically go with is, let us say that every cloud has a silver lining. Let's say that you receive a topic like that. So, metaphorical topic, which just means that every problem will have some respite at something or the other. Every problem will give a way to show you a direction. That is what it means metaphorically. Provided you don't know it, attack it literally. Attack it literally. So, a friend of mine demonstrated this. He didn't know what every cloud has a silver lining is. He just went about talking about the weather. And how beautiful a cloud was when the sun's rays was falling on it. Now, does it actually make you win the contest? Depends upon how the other people are actually attacking it. But at least you're not clueless. At least you're going there and making an attempt. Now, let us say that your boss asks you, how do you improve the market share of this product? Don't employ this strategy. This is just for the table topics contest. If you don't understand a topic properly, attack it literally. For example, one of the topics that I got in my own mistake is, does the horse come first or the cart come first? Does the horse come first or the cart comes first? I didn't get it. I still don't get it. I just said, obviously the horse comes first because if I put the cart in front of the cart cannot drop the horse. That's it. So I myself ran into these problems. So attack it. I will logically break it down. Simple. You put the cart before the horse, the cart is not going to drag the horse. The horse has to drive like this. So I equated it to dreams in our lives. So always put your dreams in front of you. If you have your dreams behind you, what is there? What is pushing you? So there I use some of my this thing. I made it an own metaphorical example of my own. Right, now, if you really want to be entertaining and you really want to be ingenious in this, every cloud in this world, you can also talk about a friend who is dark complexion and has a workday period. So, you can also go there, but again, whenever I say these things, right, do not do anything to insult anyone. Do not do anything to point at you. That's not the concept of public speaking. Right. Atishay.
In the middle of the explanation of an example, you told jack of all trades and master of none. You told to go either not, you suggested not to go completely for or not to go completely against.
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't that lead me to actually structure the whole thing somewhere in between? I can lose the path. Say, suppose when I start with any topic, and in that topic I feel I cannot go for, and I cannot even go against. And if I take that suggestion of going in between, then wouldn't have I be wasting time in deciding while speaking and analyzing what I'm speaking, and then I conclude and rush to the conclusion to either to for or to against. So would it be suggestible to start for, against, or act according to the situation?
No, I wouldn't say don't act according to the situation, because if you act according to the situation, the structure of the speech is going to go for a turmoil. I will know you will be in a turmoil because I don't know which way you are going. Well, it's a nice topic. People say it's a nice topic. This topic is a nice topic. So once they say it's a nice topic, I know they're not going either for or against it. They're going to beat around the bush. So the entire structure of the speech is a puzzle, a challenge for me as a judge to figure out where are you going. So your marks will automatically come down. So go for or against. If you are maybe, tell me maybe. But the problem with maybe is for you to conclude from the for example and the against example and finally present a conclusion is going to be very difficult. There's a friend of mine, Subbu, who is an excellent tabletop speaker. He is the only one who managed to successfully do it. Till now. And I don't want people to take that chance. If you still are competent enough and if you can still back yourself up, go ahead. It is still a strategy, but not advisable considering you only have. Questions? Salim, after the show, right? Salim?
But they were talk about this, they will be much more gentle for me.
When I said personal statements, I mean, don't try to sell yourself. Don't try to sell yourself. I am this, I am a paragon of virtue, I am this brand ambassador of something. How do you know I am that genius who's hiding down in this auditorium for that amount of time? So all of these things, don't do those statements. Since I've been here for 3 years, and in every year in Toastmasters, I believe it's a dog's year. So 1 year in Toastmasters is equal to 6 years of your actual life. so since I've been here, I've seen quite a bit of variety of contestants. And all of their anxiety, their emotion, everything comes up when they come up onto the stage. You've seen it yourself, Zahid. You've seen it yourself. So it literally becomes a wrestling ring where they have to prove their manhood. And I'm like, dude, come on. Take a hand. Take a hand. So don't go in there. Talk about your problem. Yeah, when I was in 5th class, I went through this, and now today I've been able to do well in my life. That's always good. Don't try to make a personal statement. Shiva.
What happens is when I come and do a table topic and come back to my chair, subsequently at the same time I realized that I should have told like this would have been more effective. And then I also felt that I was not sticking to the topic.
Right.
I spoke about something and why did I do it like that?
Right.
Many times I've observed that.
Right.
And when I'm on stage, I just if I come back, so that's one dampener for me. That's why it discourages me to go for tabletop. I always have that thing that when in a prepared speech, you have the content, you have the preparation, the rehearsal, everything easy. I feel, but when it's coming to tabletop,
let me tell you, you are not alone in that ship. You are squeezing it. So I felt it. I literally felt like kicking myself whenever I saw somebody best me at these sort of things. And it's good. It's good that you feel that way because you're going to work towards improving yourself. Now, one of the ways that you can actually avoid that is actually pace yourself. That is the reason I'm telling you to put yourself into the zone. If you're too eager to bounce onto the topic, right, you don't give yourself enough time to analyze each and every nuance of that topic. For example, I'll tell you this. In my district semi-final, at that point of time when I competed at the national level, I had a semi-finals as well as finals. That year they just wanted to make it tough. So semi-finals and finals. So in the semi-finals, I received a topic called as an ounce of practice is greater than a ton of advice. An ounce of practice is greater than a ton of advice. Right? This is the topic I got. Everyone who came to the stage except Abdul Rahim, he was in my semi-final, he was in my final. So, everyone who came to, except me and him, who came to the stage, reinterpreted the topic as practice makes one perfect. An ounce of practice is better than a ton of advice. So they reinterpreted this topic as practice makes one perfect. They reinterpreted the topic, they spoke on that. And then finally, you have to put that single line at the end of conclusion, you have to put that single line and say, this is why it is. It's nothing fit problem. Now, one way to actually help you out is, whenever you're given a topic, right, repeat the topic. If you repeat the topic right then and there, right, you won't forget it. The reason why I haven't forgotten any one of these topics which I received almost 2 years ago is not because of the fact that I watched my own videos, so I don't even have access to them. It's because of the fact that I repeated them and they stayed with me all through. So repeat the topic. While repeating, right, ideas will start bouncing in your head. An ounce of practice is better than a ton of advice. I agree with it. Finish. I'm actually thinking about it. And start. So if you don't, now no examples strike you. What is a ton of advice? Don't we get it from our friends? Every day our friends tell you, don't wear this shirt, don't wear that shirt. Every day your friends tell you. Every day your parents tell you, don't stay up late. How has it helped you? But think about swimming. You are on the swimming pool. Your friend is a great swimmer. He tells you, this is how you have to swim. Can you go and swim? He might speak to you for 5 hours. Can you go and swim? No. Get into the swimming pool, practice for half an hour, you can swim. That is the reason why an ounce of practice is better than a ton of wisdom. I wish I gave my table topic like this. I did.
But this comes with practice.
This comes with practice, and this also comes with the fact, and again, this swimming example, right, I just thought about it right now. So, I gave myself enough time, I went off to the parents, I stopped there, and I said, why not I make the swimming exam? So, you give yourself enough time. And again, if you are not too eager to prove a point to someone, if you are not too eager to impress someone, table topics are again when you give a table topic speech, right, people will not be impressed. You will not get too much of this, except if it is extraordinary. Most of the table topics, even if they are good, you are not going to get too much of an applause. So if you are not there to impress anyone, and if you are out there just to attack the topic or to answer it like a normal question paper, you will come out of it very well. Whatever reputation I have, or whatever I have built over the years, is not, whenever it comes to table topics, is only because of the fact that I stick to the topic, and I try to answer it like a normal question. And I try to use the time that I have. 2.5 minutes is short, but 2.5 minutes is too long also. In 2.5 minutes, you can do a lot of things. So just slow down, repeat the topic. So as soon as you get the topic, repeat the topic. Make up your mind which way you're going to go. Once you make up your mind, don't, hey, I said that, but now I believe I'm going, no, finish. Your structure of the speech is gone for a toss. Because whatever you said to that point of time is irrelevant once you change your stance. That is the reason I showed you the balance sheet. 30 points, structure. 25 points, effectiveness. Don't change. Stick with it. Be determined. Capital punishment should be avoided. That day I got that topic. Capital punishment should be banished. I somehow, in that state of mind, I was in a real, wrecked state of mind. I said, we need capital punishment. I went ahead, even though I am in middle about it. There are for some things I believe that you need a higher sentence than capital punishment, and for some things I believe that capital punishment should not be. So I'm in the middle about it. If you actually ask me, but I went ahead and I stuck with it. So for those 2 to 2.5 minutes, forget who you are. That is the reason why I'm talking about silence. But this is what I am. If I don't do this, people will think this about me. No, attack the topic. With all this knowledge, attack the topic. Right? Yes, please.